What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me today. Today we've got a little bit of a different topic. Um, my dad died on Thursday, and the traumatic experience of it is really raw. And I think that this is a unique opportunity to talk about how we can take the things that crush us and in the moment shift ourselves back into a place of empowerment and a place of alignment, and to surf the wave of real emotion and pain and vulnerability in a way that's as effective as possible and as empowered as possible. So I wanted to talk about that today because it's something that I'm experiencing right now, and I think it's really much easier to come on here when things are good and things are coasting and to say, hey, here's what I do to feel good and to align and manifest. And it's really, really fucking hard to manifest what you want from a place of grief, from a place of trauma, from a place of shock, from a place of feeling like a victim. So that's what I want to talk about today. So sorry if I'm emotional. It's still raw, which is kind of the point. But yeah, so my name is Lily Newhouse. Thank you so much for joining me. I jump onto YouTube. I talk about law of attraction, mindset coaching. I'm a personal growth junkie. It's my mission in life, is my number one mission is to expand myself and my growth every day. And I'm not perfect. It's a constant journey, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I believe is my path, is all of our path if we want to be happy, is to be the leaders of our own expansion, to continue to grow, to continue to have more relationships, more experiences, better and higher, and all of these things that are up leveling every time, which is what we're made to do, is to expand, like living in an expanding universe and an expansive energy. So that's what I'm here for. If you guys align with something like that, if that feels like a vibe for you that could be helpful in your life, I would love for you to like the video, subscribe, share it with any of your friends. And I post daily content on Instagram at Lily A. Newhouse. So you can check that out too if that's something that you're interested in. So what happened was, my dad has been suffering from chronic leukemia for 14 years. He got sicker recently, but we thought it was symptoms that could be healed with leukemia treatment. And it turns out that that was not the case, that there was an infection in his heart, and very suddenly his heart gave out before they could do anything to try to fix it. So I mean, my dad is everything to me. He's the leader that I follow. He's the role model that I look up to. He's the human that I aspire to be like. He's the achiever that I aspire to walk in the footsteps of. And so when someone like that is taken away from you, it leaves you feeling like, where do I go from here? And where do I fall back on if it doesn't work out? You know, like, if I fail, who's my safety net? If I succeed, who's there with me? If I don't know where to go, you know, I feel lost, I feel stuck, I feel like fear of the pain that's coming, all of these things. But the important thing is that life is going to keep happening to me, and it is not going to get easier. It's very likely to get harder. And if anything, there will be pockets where it's easier and pockets where it's harder. And I don't want my life, my reality, my vision, my experience, most importantly, to be determined by what happens to me, because that's out of my control. And so if I do that, that's this victim mentality, and this coming to my life from the space of being a victim of what happens to me. And I've done that. I've been there before. You know, I suffer from chronic depression and rapid cycling bipolar, as I've talked about before. So for a long time, you know, it's this fine line between acknowledging that this is a real health issue, and empowering myself to handle it, right? And so this is a place where, these things happen to us, these defining moments, and we have a choice. We can choose to run from the fear. We can choose to cower. We can choose to stay in our comfort zone. We can choose to shrink because things are harder, and shrink away from them and do nothing about them. And that's a mentality of being a victim of our circumstances. And is there a place for being a victim and acknowledging that experience of being a victim of something that happens to us? Absolutely. There's pain, there's a process to go through, and ultimately we have a choice whether we are going to turn it into a springboard for growth, or if we are going to let it shrink us smaller, or stay in our comfort zone longer, or bury it so that we can never overcome the resistance that's keeping us out of alignment. So I have a choice right now. I have a choice to be a victim of my dad being gone and all of the things that means for my life, which is different for everyone. For me, it's a lot of scary things. Or I can choose self-leadership. I can take the place that my dad had in my life and say, okay, now it's my chance to step into his shoes. Now I fill the role, and I don't fill the role for the people he was a leader of. I fill the role for myself. I become my own leader, and I become the person who behind the scenes is accountable for who they are. Because I can come on here and I can talk about all of the kinds of things that I do and all of the person that I am and all of the recommendations that I have for you to feel better. But who am I being? What kind of leader am I being in my own life? And I just lost my leader. And so it's this opportunity to say, what's the next aligned step? What would my higher self do? What is my path? And what do I want my path to be? And when you can get in touch with who you are on the inside and have these experiences of meditating and journaling and self-reflection and visualization and affirmations and all of these things where you're leading yourself and you're choosing your own reality, these are the moments when it matters. These are the moments where you say, what happened to me does not define who I become. I choose who I become. And I have a coach who said the other day in a training, you pick up the crown of what you want and put it on your own damn head. And that's the thing. No one is going to say to me, oh, let me make it better. Nothing will make this better. It will get easier. It will get less painful, I hope. Nothing is going to bring my dad back. And I get to choose, do I learn from this? Do I grow from this? Do I springboard into a quantum leap where I have more urgency than ever to make my dad proud, to be the person that I know that I can be, to take this opportunity to become my own leader? Or do I let it keep me down? Do I let it make me feel like this happened to me and it's not fair and I'm going to get crushed by it? Because this isn't to say that you can't be in pain, that you can't be sad, that you can't feel disempowered sometimes, but it's this like, do you snap back to your higher self? Do you pull yourself back no matter how far down the rope you are? Do you pull yourself up and be your own leader? Save yourself, because you can't count on anyone else to do it for you. And frankly, they could be dangling a rope all day and you're not grabbing onto it, So the thing is that this experience for me is unleashing all of my deepest fears and all of my fears of failure, all of my fears of, what happens if, all of these things that are like these real unknowns when someone who's protected me and supported me and kept me safe and led me dies and is gone. And so it's, who am I being when I'm facing my deepest fears? Am I leaping into the fear head first and saying, Now I get to be who I want to be. And now this fear won't stop me. And now I'm grateful for this fear because I get to level up as a person, as a self-leader, as an emotional, intelligent being, as an energetic being. So snapping back to that space, it's like when you're meditating, your mind gets lost in your own, your thoughts get lost. You're in your own mind. You've lost your breath, and the practice isn't to say, "Oh, I suck for getting lost." The practice is to say, come back to the breath. That's the practice. The practice is to snap back, because we're never going to stop having these experiences that contrast with what we want. We are never going to stop having pain. But it's a matter of, what do I do with it? What do I let this become? Because I can let this become something bad that happened to me, or I can let this become something painful that happened to me, that caused me to grow, that caused me to expand, that caused me to leap into my greater self. And that's the choice. And that's the choice I have right now. And it doesn't negate the pain and the grief and the depression. And it doesn't mean you can't cry. But it means that then you make a choice. You make a choice to be a victim, or you make a choice to be a leader. And you're allowed to be human. You allow yourself grace and you allow yourself space. But then you draw yourself back into the moment and you step into your power. You say, what do I want? More than I want to be held down. And it has to be that much that you want it. It has to come from within you, of why. What is my why? And how am I going to move forward despite this thing that wants to hold me down? And how am I going to fight back against my own pain to make it my greatest learning? And so this is an opportunity for me to quantum leap into my future and to say, this is my chance to be the person that made my dad proud, that would make my dad proud. This is my chance to take his legacy and follow it with my own. And the only way to do that is to make a choice of how I respond, and to be responsible for what happens to me, for be responsible for what the result is of my dad dying. And so that's what I wanted to share today. I think that it's really about taking that deep knowing and trusting myself and trusting yourself, and taking that next aligned action right into the face of fear. Okay, what am I the most afraid of? Jump into that. Jump into that now, and choose it, and choose more than that. Choose more than my fear. Choose harder than my fear, choose to jump on YouTube and talk about how to cope with this, rather than hide in my room and say, when I feel better, I'll talk to people about mindset. That's the work. That's the fucking work. And you can do it, and you can take control of your life, and you can build your future, and you can manifest your own reality by choice, or you can let things happen to you and be a victim of them. And guess what? Things are going to happen to you either way, and it's up to you. And it's up to me. So that's what I'm here for today. I wanted to share that. I hope that that's helpful. Feel free, if you want to talk one-on-one, you can slide in the DMs on my Instagram at Lily A. Newhouse. I'm happy to be here for anyone going through anything similar or not, anything I can help you with, and strengthen numbers. So if you would do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this content, and follow me on Instagram. I post daily content there at Lily A. Newhouse. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm shocked that I didn't cry during this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon.